Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be building huge, luxuriant, crazy castles of Mad King Ludwig. We're going to be putting together different rooms and maybe even some moats and all sorts of different downstairs and upstairs and hallways and gardens and everything. Today we're taking a look at Castles of Mad King Ludwig. This is the Collector's Edition, the Royal Collector's Edition from Bezier Games. I'm also going to show you the Colossal version of this, which is like 4 times as big as the Collector's Edition. So let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. Now first I want to show you the inside of this box because the game trays here were designed in such a way, it was like a polyomino game just to design this thing. And it's really good because it helps set things up really quickly. Let me show you the details. Now we've got sort of the scoreboard, but it's also what holds all of the components in the game. More on that in a second. Now below that we have a level that has the first player marker and it also covers sort of the towers and such. And so now not only can you see that all the towers that are here, it also shows that you have these, and these actually go on the board and hold the components as well. And you can see that in here, it actually tells you how many of each you need to put in there for each player count. Very useful. Then below that level, and it's interesting because this thing it ends up holding a bunch of the king's favorites, but it sticks way up, but yet they figured out a way to make the game trays fit in and around this. Now these hold the different decks of cards, so you can just store them here. Same with this bonus cards, but also again, the trays that help you hold all of the pieces on the board. Now here we have 2 sets of trays. Right now they have the cover on them. And now you can see them a little bit better without the lids on there. Again, all the different stacks of all the different rooms go in there. And finally below that we have 2 more trays with lids on them. Now again, this is the Royal Edition. It had some tokens for the swans there, but it also has the metal coins, the poker chip style favors. It has all the weighted swans for the point trackers. It has the moats and the secret passages here. So this was the Royal version. Now check out the detail of these cool towers. They come pre-painted like this. They just look so amazing. I love how the board works because this fits in here. Like look at this. All of the things that fit and store things are in this dual layered board, so they fit right in there nice. It was such a nice thing to do. And on this side you have some of the other towers, you have some of the other tiles. I've left this blank on purpose. So again, when setting this up, you're like, oh, 4 players? I just need 6 of all the tiles that are in this thing. So quick. So you just grab the tray that has those, grab 6 of them randomly, put them on there, super fast setup. Now one player is going to start as the Master Builder. They get this cool screen printed Master Builder token. Everyone starts with a foyer and they will get that color sort of weighted swan in this version. They actually are weighted so they don't tip over and they're very stable. And you'll start them off on the scorecard. And everyone's going to get 15,000. I'm showing you some ones here to show you what the money looks like. Again, this is the Royal version, so it came with the real money tokens here. Everyone's going to start with 3 bonus cards, and then from those you'll select 2. I'm going to keep those face down for now. We'll come over these later. And here's an up-close shot to show you how cool these metal coins look like. Now the Master Builder is going to take a certain amount of cards, depending on the amount of players, and put a certain amount of rooms out here. And these are randomized, meaning you're drawing from a deck of cards. It tells you what size room to come, and then you just take those from the piles. So they're randomized. And the Master Builder is setting the price for these because players are going to be buying these rooms to put in their castle, but they're going to be spending a certain amount of money and giving it to the Master Builder. So this is sort of an I split you choose, where the Master Builder is trying to figure out which ones are worth more to which people and how much do you think you could get for them. So again, all different buildings and they're setting the prices. Then to the player to their left, they're going to decide to maybe buy one of these rooms. Or if they don't want to, they could just take some money. Now they get $5,000 if they passed, or they could spend $3,000 to get stairs, a set of stairs or a set of hallways. Now you notice each of the rooms have sort of a color, and they have a type here. So look at this. We have this and this and this, and they match here. Like this purple living room is that. This outdoors here. This sleeping room is here. And these are going to be important for different goals and also scoring different things. So let's say the first 3 players have gotten their buildings. They paid me $1,000, $4,000, and $6,000. Hey, I'm feeling pretty rich right now. And it's my turn. What do I want to do? Let's say I buy this one for $10,000. Now, most of the bigger buildings, sometimes you'll end up putting them like this so they all fit okay, but I wanted to kind of show you what they look like there. So let's say now that the master builder is me, I would spend to the supply this amount of money and I'd be able to put this in my building. Now next round, these are obviously going to get mixed with some new buildings, and the builder is going to set the prices. But if someone gets this building or this room, they'll be able to take it and they actually get the money too. They can actually use this money to help pay for it too. So I'll take that room and I will place it. Now you'll notice there's a handful of entrances to this room, and I can use any one of these to match it up to here. You have to put at least one entrance to another entrance. That's pretty much the rules there. So let's say we do something like this. Now, why did I spend so much money on this in the first round? Well, if you remember, we got some bonus cards at the beginning of the game, 3 of them, and I selected 2 of them. One of them was 2 points for each of my living rooms and 3 points for each of my 450 square foot ones, which is this one. So actually, this right here got me 5 points at the end of the game. This was like a perfect match of both of the bonuses that I kept. So there's different things and different strategies that you'll try to use in order to win the game. Now I'm actually going to score 2 points immediately. Now why are we doing that? Well, because it says so right here, but also look at this. I'll get 3 points if I connect an entrance to an activity room or a corridor. So maybe next turn, and again, after everyone has placed theirs, the player to the left of me will be the master builder, and we'll go through all that again. But let's say instead I end up just buying some stairs for 3,000, and I place this here. So these are stairs that are going to go downstairs, and because I placed them here, I'm going to get 3 points. Now let's say next round happens. Let's say I get this activity room. It's an arcade, okay? Now I'm going to place it upside down right here in just a moment so that it matches that entrance like that. But I want to show you face up that what it's doing is, now normally I'm going to get 3 points because I'm putting an activity room here, but I'm getting minus a point because it's adjacent to this room right here. So because it's next to a living room, it's going to get minus a point, but this is giving me 3, so I get 2 here, plus I get 4 here. So that's pretty much how that would work, and I go like this. I like to say next room, I go like this. I put a long hallway on here. Again, it's going to get me 3 more points because it's next to this. Now look at this. All of the entrances of this specific room are completed. And that's one of the things you're trying to do in the game, because anytime you do that, you'll get a bonus depending on the type of room it is. Now it's a living room, so I get to rescore all the completed rooms points again. That's great. But you can see what some of the other ones do, like the activity room will give you 5 points. Sleeping room will allow you to look at some of the tiles that are coming up and put the ones, put one that you want basically on top. Outdoor will make you money. Utility will allow you to get you more bonuses. The food room will allow you to take another turn, and so on and so forth. Now you notice these stairs go downstairs, and when they go down, they get dark. And that's because there are downstairs rooms or underground rooms that are all dark. They must be downstairs. This one's catacombs. I'd get 2 points immediately, and I'll get 2 points for every one of these utility rooms in the castle. So I might flip this up and do something like this, for example. So, but you might make stairs going up from there and then going up and things like that. Now the cool thing about the downstairs rooms is every 2 of them that you complete, you get to pick any one of the other awards from any of the other building types. Now eventually the deck of cards that you've set up for this game are going to be depleted, and you'll end at the end of that round. Now in addition to some of the points I've already showed you, like bonus cards and such, there's also these King's Favors, and you'll get a certain amount of points depending on how well you did. For example, if you had the sleeping rooms with the total most square footage, you'd get 8, and so on and so forth. Or the most round rooms, or the most money, or the most outdoor rooms, and things like that, but they're always different each game. You'll also be getting points for every 10,000 money you have, and you'll get 2 points for every tile you have from any depleted stacks, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, there's plenty of expansions you can play with. For example, we were playing with the towers. Now these tower rooms, if you complete one of these, for example like this, you get the normal bonus, which would be for an outdoor room 10,000, but you also get to look at the top 3 of those, pick one, discard the other ones, and it's a new bonus that only you're going to be able to score. For example, maybe I got the one that said, hey, the most towers, the most 325 rooms. So what I do is I would take this, I could place it down here, it's secret, and I will take the corresponding tower and place it on here. It just makes it look even cooler. You can also play the Swans expansion. You'll notice that certain rooms have swans. When they come out, they get a randomized swan token on them. It'll be a specific color. Now on your turn, you can exchange any amount of swan tokens, up to 5 of them, for money, for like 1,000 for one, all the way up to 15,000 for 5 of them. But each unique set of swans is going to be worth a certain amount of points. Like in this case, we have a set of 3, so we would get 6 points at the end. So it's another way to sort of get points and use them for money during the game. You can also play with the Royal Decrees, which these will get drafted in reverse turn order. You'll be able to select one of them, and they do different things. For example, scoring a bonus twice, or winning ties for the favors, or 12 points if you're in first place, or rooms that are completed are completed even if some of the entrances are blocked. They give you little different ways to score, different ways to break rules, but you'll draft one of these in reverse turn order. You can also play with the secret passages, which gives you 3 different types. And now when you connect a room, if they're not already connected to each other, you can use one of these secret passages, and essentially it would give you double the connection bonuses. So for example, normally I would not be able to put this here because it would be overlapping here if I got this building, but I could do something like this, and now this could fit. So maybe I would put this something like this. And now, look at this, we got 2 times the connection bonus. This gives us 1 point for every activity that's connected, so this would double that, so it'd give us 2 points for that. Of course, we'd get the points as normal. Now you can also play with moats, and if so, everyone starts with a barbican, and you put that around any side of your foyer. Then, instead of doing one of the normal things, you can buy a moat. Now to do that, you spend 5,000, you'll get 3 points immediately, and you'll connect that moat like this. Now when looking at this, you'll immediately get a point for every one of these types of buildings that you have, rooms that you have in your castle. And only outdoor rooms can be built outside of the moat. And if you complete the moat, you get to choose up to 1 room from any stack and add it directly to your castle without paying for it. Now that's pretty much the Royal Collector's Edition. Let's take a look at the Colossal version. Now it comes in its own box, which again has its own board and has all of the different components on it as I showed you previous. One good thing about this that I love is that I didn't have to punch out these components because they're huge. They already come pre-punched and put in all of the stacks for us. Now here I have both boards laid out. You'll see on the top is the one we've been using in the Royal Collector's Edition, and on the bottom of the Colossus. Now they look about the same size, but you'll notice that the print of the money and things like that are huge because the tiles are going to be a lot bigger. But we're going to end up moving a lot of these components over here to the Colossal board. So I've moved a lot of the components over. First, you could see that the same towers are used. I put them right in the board. You can also see some of the card holders for the size rooms and the decrees are used. The favors are same ones, they get used here too. Also, this set over here holds the different bonus cards and holds the favor tokens. And again, this is using the same type of inlet that the other one was using. Now you might notice at the top that we're not using the trays, and that's of course because the new ones are going to be a lot bigger because they're going to be a lot bigger tiles. So let's take a look at those. Now you'll notice that these are game trays and they're going to hold the different sizes. And again, imprinted in there shows you how many you put for each player count, just like the other ones. These actually double as lids for the components for the Colossal version, but they also are things that you put them on. Now, typically if you're playing the Colossal version, we usually put these either on the box on the floor or over on another table, because with 4 people playing on a big table, it takes up a lot of room. So we end up separating this out anyway. And so for example, all the 500 would go where the 500s are. Now let's take a look at the bigger ones versus the smaller ones. Now again, these tiles feel big when you're playing the standard version because this is like the second biggest tile in the game. But when you put it next to this one, oh my gosh, it's dwarfed. Now, the thing I love about this is, like, the first thing I saw when I got this tile out were these slippers. And guess what? The slippers are on the other one, but I never noticed them before. I'm too busy looking at the points, looking at the size, looking at the name, looking at the thing, looking at the points. I never saw those, where it was like the first thing I saw with this. Look at this, it looks like maybe someone's phone or something. Barely could see it, but the detail of the rooms and the art really come through in the Colossal version. Again, let's look at the orchestra room. Look at it. Okay, so here's the timpani drums. You can see the mallets that are used to hit it. Again, you can kind of see them here. But then look at this, a flute, 2 flutes. Like, I never noticed that there were flutes on here before, ever. But you can see all the details. It's just such a cool thing. Now let's look at some of the smaller ones and the largest ones, and we're gonna measure them. All right, so here we see the foyer and a small 100 ice box there. You can see the difference of sizes of them there. Now you can see how much bigger they are as they fit inside of them. Now you can see I put it in the corner. Now this one is about 1 inch and that one's 2 inches because it's twice as big, but it's twice as big in both directions, as you can tell. And so that's why it's 4 times bigger. So everything is twice as big in the different directions. And here's one of the largest rooms, the 600, the stables. And again, this felt so big before I played the Colossal version. And now look at it. This thing is absolutely dwarfed by this thing here. Yep, we got 3.5 inches to 7 inches. Everything is twice. And you can also get the Colossal with the moats and barbicans. And again, here's a standard one, just over 9 inches, and over here, about 18.5 inches. So yeah, it's a lot bigger. So if you were playing with the barbican and the moats, and you built all sides of the moats, you're looking at an 18 by 18 square for the Colossal version versus a 9-inch by 9-inch square. Yeah, as you can see, absolutely beautiful production and upgraded art. You know, a lot of people love Castles of Magic in Lang Vegas. It's a very highly rated game, but with the original edition, people had problems with sort of the graphic design, the way it looked, and they really did. I mean, a few years ago, Bezier Games did a collector's edition of Suburbia, one of my favorite sort of Euro economic games, city building, and with that as well, the first edition wasn't a looker, but when they came out with the collector's edition, oh my goodness, they just made it pop. They made all the art look great. It really drew you in. It just made the game so much better. This does the same thing because the production's awesome, the upgraded art's awesome, all the things to hold even just the board, the way that the board holds all the different things and the tiles and the cards, and it's just an absolutely beautiful production that definitely deserves a collector's edition title to it. Also, as you saw, the game tray storage system works so good. It's not confusing enough that you need like a diagram to put them in, but they just hold everything really nice. You just take the trays off. It's got all the different tile sizes all right there. It makes setting up the game a lot faster for sure. The best thing about this game, I feel, is like the I split you choose sort of master builder mechanism, where you're looking at the buildings that are out there, you're looking at what people are building, you're looking at what might be really good to you, then you're like, how much do I think this is worth to them, right? And because you're trying to get as much money out of people as you can, and I like that aspect of this game, trying to set the price, or if it's for you, it's like, oh man, I really want that building, that room, but you just made it too expensive for me. I'll just, take a hallway this round, or maybe I'll just take some money, doing different things like that. So I like that aspect. I've always liked I split you choose, and it works well here. I love the sort of thematic room effects, like, you get minus points for an entertainment room that's next to a sleeping room and things like that. Just the way that the buildings work, the way the rooms work, what they do, it's thematic, and I like that. I love that you're trying to finish rooms for bonuses. And so you're pushing things around, and you're like, I really want to close this room here, because when you do, you get all these cool bonuses, and each of the different types of rooms have a different bonus type, and that's cool too, because sometimes you're shooting. Sometimes like, I don't really want that building, but it's small, and it's like it might be easier to close, and I'm not really doing good on on the favors and the bonuses. So maybe I want to get the one that gives me extra bonus cards, right? And so different things that you can do with the different bonuses. I like that. I like the new introduction of the new towers and the cool tower bonuses with that, where you're being able to get your own secret personal end game goal. That's cool. I like that this version has more rooms than the original. They kept all the normal rooms, but then they added the ones from the secrets, added one from like a Polish expansion. They added more rooms. They added the Swans expansion, the Decrees expansion, which I like, drafting those and coming basically with like a little special ability that you have, a different thing, a way to break the rules. I like all the expansions, and and also you get to feel like you've built something at the end, and that's it. You get to stand up and you go, look at my crazy castle, and every time you play this game, your castle is going to look different, and the person next to you's castle is going to look different, and it's just really cool to see how different you can play the game, but how close the scoring ends up being. Now, I showed you the Colossal version. I played this early, about last November, with Bezier Games, and it was such a cool experience that like. I really can't go back to playing the normal collector's edition, which is amazing. The Colossal edition, when I first got like Giant King Domino, I was like, do we really need a Giant King Domino? And the funny thing is you're able to see so much more detail in the tiles in that game with the big ones. Same with this. It's like they made this artwork also beautiful. It looks great on the collector's edition, but then you get the Colossal edition, and you just see so much more little details on the tile that you didn't see. They were there, but you didn't see them. I don't know. I just love it. Granted, you're gonna have to have a bigger table, and depending on how many players, you might need to set aside, the thing that holds the tiles either onto a different table or just like on the box on the floor or something like that, because it does take up more space for sure. But for me, if I'm gonna play this, I'm gonna play the Colossal version. It's so good. Is that worth it to you? Well, if you get the table size and you want to spend the extra money, that's only something you could say. But I can't say that like it's definitely, after playing it, I can't go back. So that's that. Now, on the negative side of things, I'd say that the biggest negative in this game, and really the only one I have here, is that I like that setting the prices and the sort of the aspect of splitting you choose, as I mentioned earlier. It can be analysis paralysis inducing for some. So if you are prone to play with players or you are analysis paralysis, it can slow the game down a little bit where if you're looking at everything and really trying to maximize everything. I basically tell people being in the game, look, it's a nice split you choose. Don't try to min-max every turn. Just look at what people are building generally. Look what buildings up there and just go with your gut and set them. Don't spend 10 minutes. You know, you might want to set a timer for this aspect if you have people that have it. So if you play people with analysis paralysis, this part will trigger that. But again, you can either just set a timer, but I tend to set that up front, being like, hey, look at things, spend a minute or so, but like, you know, shoot from your gut at that point. You know, don't spend too, this isn't rocket science here. But you can get carried away with just looking at all of it, trying to figure out how much they're willing to spend and everybody and look at all the details. But that's only negative, but it's easily solved with a timer or helping people out, tell them to, hey, you know, move a little faster. Anyway, this game's amazing. Absolutely is gonna go right next to my collector's edition Suburbia on my shelf. So it's absolutely getting a Saxophone Serenade, my highest honor. So let's induct it into the gaming library. Let's hit it. Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing, thematic, premium stitch edge mats from noted board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it's a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below to late pledge for their latest Game Topper 3.5 Kickstarter campaign.